I watched a young soldier take his seat on the plane, and the guy by the window
Today
said,
we are at the Riverview Public Library, and we are interviewing Elsie Midgett, who was in the United States Women's Reserve Marine Corps. Is that how you said it? Okay, all right. It was kind of a mouthful. It's not just Women's Marines or something like that. And so I appreciate you coming in today.
Thank you.
Let me start off with some background questions. Where and when were you born?
March 7th, 1924 in Trenton, Michigan.
What were your parents' occupations, and how many siblings did you have?
I had 6 living siblings, and my mother was a stay-at-home mother, and my father worked for the quarry. It was called the Solvay Processing Company.
And what did he do there?
He ran power drill, a well drill,
What high school did you attend?
Trenton High School,
What year did you graduate?
1941.
Now, you joined the military in 1944,
Yes.
and you graduated from high school in 1941. Now, what did you do in those 3 years before you joined the military?
I worked at the dime store and several other grocery stores in Trenton.
So basically retail.
Right.
Did any of those jobs help you with any of the duties that you had in the Marine Corps?
Well, I used to lift 100-pound sacks of potatoes and other things, so when I got in there, it helped me with the job I had.
Since the war was going on at the time, did you have any family members that were in the military
Yes.
at the time?
I had, Yola's brother was in the Air Corps, and the other one was up in the Aleutian Islands. And then my other brother got drafted, and he had a couple children, and he was in the Air Corps too.
Mm-hmm. Were you drafted or did you enlist?
There was never anyone in the family, on both sides of the family, ever in the Marine Corps, and they were the hardest branch to get into. So that's why I joined the Marine Corps.
So you joined because it was the hardest branch?
Right.
And nobody else, and nobody in your family had joined the Marines?
No, none,
Okay.
way back.
All right. Now, okay, I have to ask. I mean, actually, from what I read, there were more than 20,000 women in the Marines during World War II. That may seem like a lot, but compared to how many women were in the country, that kind of thing.
Right.
I'm trying to think, why did you want to join the military to begin with?
Because everybody I knew was in the service. My brothers were in the service. So that's why I wanted to join.
Did you know any other women that were in the service?
No.
No?
I met them after I was in there.
Well, yeah, well, of course you did.
From home.
Right.
I mean, from
Right.
home.
So, did anybody tell you that the military wasn't a place for you, or did anybody tell you, "Oh, come on, Elsie, that you're a woman. Why would you want to do that?" Did you get any of that?
No.
Really?
Because
Okay.
I was always on the go.
Oh, you
doing
were?
what I wanted to do. So.
Okay.
That's why I did it.
So when people found out that Elsie joined the Marine Corps, probably none of them were surprised, is what you're saying?
No.
Oh, okay. When you first enlisted, did you have to take any tests or any kind of thing? Since you did mention that it was so hard to get into, what
Yeah,
did
well,
you have
you
to?
had your eye test, and you had a physical, and all that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Where did you enlist? Did you enlist here in the Detroit area?
Yes.
Where was your basic training?
Camp Lejeune, North Carolina.
What was a typical day like in basic training for
Well, up when you had to get in there to eat. You had so many time limit to getting dressed and squared away and get in and out of the mess hall, and all sorts of things like that. But then you had field duty, and you had guard duty to perform, and all that sort of thing.
Did
and
you have
how
a
to
lot-
put on gas masks and all that stuff that the men had to go through.
Okay. Did you have a lot of physical activity,
Yes.
fitness?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you find that difficult?
No.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Why not?
Because I was always on the go.
You're always
doing
on the go.
everything, you know?
So basically, you
Yeah.
already. So what you're saying, you were already in shape before you got there.
Right.
Oh, okay. What do you think the most difficult part of basic training was?
I guess when they tried to tell me what I was going to do, and one, she said, well, I can make you take the test. I said, you can make me take the test, but you can't make me pass it.
And what did she say to that?
She didn't say nothing.
Now, were all your instructors women?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Was there anything you liked about basic training?
Just about everything.
Oh, you liked everything.
Yeah.
Oh, well, since you're always on the go, it's on the military fit well for you then, correct?
Right.
Okay. After your basic training, did you have any specialized training?
No.
So
just
they assigned you right to the commissary?
Yeah.
How did they know-
They sent me from Camp Lejeune to
Oh,
Quantico, Virginia.
Quantico.
And I got a ACK rating. It was a
What does that mean?
it was a corporal, but it was a commissary rating, and I was the only woman butcher ever in the Marine Corps. Woman butcher.
Right.
That's what I did. Cutting up meat.
Cutting up meat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, did they train you for that?
No.
No. Did you know how to do it already?
Well, I had a little bit of working in the meat department, but I didn't have these quarter beef.
Right.
They hang them on the racks and that. And had to take them down and cut them up and for 170 people for 3 meals a day.
Now, did you stay in Quantico for the rest of the...
Right.
When you were serving, how did you stay in contact with friends and family?
By letter, and when I'd go home on leave.
Were you a good letter writer?
Pretty good.
Nobody complained and
No.
said, Elsie, please
They
write
were-
me more?
They were glad to get mail.
Did your family miss you?
I guess so.
Guess so. Or you hope so?
I was a brat, so I guess they missed me.
Were you a brat in the Marine Corps?
No.
Why not?
I did things the way I wanted to do them.
Can you do
But
that?
I wouldn't say it was
Can
a
you do
brat.
that in the Marine Corps? Do things the way you want them? I
Pretty-
thought you were told.
Pretty much. And I met some of the girls that I knew from Trenton that was in the Marine Corps. And some of the men I knew, I met them sometimes in Washington, D.C.
Oh, okay.
And another chief petty officer. And he came to see me. I knew his family.
Mm-hmm.
And so he took me out. We went to Mount Vernon. There was 2 parts to the to Quantico. One was the main, and then they had the air base portion. And they had fire trucks and all kinds of stuff and airplanes over at that part. So we were just right downtown, just a small place.
Did they have any? Did you have to conduct yourself in a different way since you were a woman, as opposed to?
You were supposed to be refined.
Oh,
you
okay,
know.
right.
And they had a waiting room out there, so if you had any men guests, they'd come in and they'd go to the office and ask for them. They had to stay out there, and then they'd come and announce you had a guest, and then you'd go out there. And then if you wanted to stay there and watch television, or if you wanted to go somewhere, you could.
Right.
But you had to sign out, and then you had to sign back in when you come back.
Right. You went to Quantico, and then that's where you were discharged, correct?
Right.
1946. Where did you go after that?
I went to Arlington, Virginia, and I worked for Sears and a Safeway store, grocery store. And I came back home, and then I went down to Norfolk, Virginia. So.
Was your family happy to see you
Yeah.
when you got out? Well, I don't know. You said you were a brat.
Well, by
Were
then
they still? By then what?
They didn't think I was a brat.
Why not?
But I'd take off for after work. I tended bar.
Which
Yeah.
bars?
The Stay Bar and the Tap Room in Trenton.
Do
They're
those-
not there no.
They're not there
No.
anymore.
And I get through at 2:30 to lock up, and get a friend, and let's go to Chicago for a cup of coffee. And I didn't even drink coffee. So we went anyway. We saw Wrigley Field and everything, came back. So my mother said, I never had any trouble with all the boys, but you. And I said, well, I'm just like Dad. He left England when he was, and came over here, so I travel too. And I said, I can't help it if the boys don't want to get out of town.
Your dad was from England?
Yes, and my mother was from Canada.
Did they meet in Canada?
In Canada, yes. Mm-hmm.
Do you stay in contact with people that you knew from your military experience?
I did, but they're all gone. You know.
Did you keep in contact with them through the years?
Yeah, especially the one and her husband. I knew them both. And they had 2 children, but she had multiple
Sclerosis.
Yeah.
Do you belong to any veterans organizations?
I used to belong to the American Legion, but I don't now.
And the last question is, if there was one thing you wanted to tell people that you learned from the military or how the military impacted your life, what would that one thing you would like to tell people what it would be?
To join and see for yourself.
Join and see for yourself.
Right. I wouldn't change any part of my life.
Did you
including
learn
the Marines.
Did you learn anything from the military?
I think they learned something from me.
What did they learn from you?
Well, I can't tell you all, but they had entertainers that come in, and they come into the butcher shop, and they'd get on the scale and they'd try to pull up, and they had to see how much they could pull on the scales.
You pulled more than them, didn't you?
Right.
You did. You pulled more
Right.
than them.
I did.
I'm kind of getting the sense that you had fun in the military.
I did. I even know my serial number.
Oh, you remember your serial number?
766-370.
Oh. How many children do you have?
I have 3 children.
3 children? Boys, girls, sons,
I
daughters?
have an older son, and I have my daughter and another son, and the older one is a half-brother
Oh, okay.
to them.
Oh, gotcha.
but I have 3 kids.
All right. Do they live around here?
Yeah, they live in Riverview,
Mm-hmm.
and one lives in Woodhaven.
Oh, okay. Do you have any grandchildren?
Yes, I have 6.
You have 6 grandchildren?
Yeah.
Do they ever ask about Grandma's time in the Marines?
No,
Why not?
because 3 of them lived in Florida,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't meet my granddaughter till she was 5 years old.
Okay.
And the oldest one, he's in the Navy, and the other one just graduated from high school.
Right.
So I have 3 up here.
Right.
My son has 2 children, and another one has another one.
Right.
It
But they know where you-
It was, I said everybody should have a grandma.
Right.
So it's my niece's son, and I adopted him as not
okay.
legally, but as a
I
grandson.
understand. I understand. Well, Elsie, thank you very much for coming today and letting me interview you. It's been a very interesting interview, and thank you for your service to our
This
country.
is the moment, this is the day when I send all my doubts and demons on their way. Every endeavor I have made ever